There was a time I was doing everything right, at least according to the internet. I was manifesting, affirming, visualizing, trusting timing, letting go. I was patient in public and exhausted in private. Every morning I would wake up and tell myself today is the day. And every night I would fall asleep pretending I wasn't disappointed. That's the part nobody posts. I wasn't lazy. I wasn't careless. I wasn't negative. I was tired of asking, tired of hoping, tired of waiting for signs, tired of decoding every coincidence like it meant something. I had turned my entire life, into a question mark. Is this aligned? Is this a sign? Should I wait? Should I trust more? I didn't realize it then, but I had slowly handed over my power, not to the universe, to uncertainty. And uncertainty had become my identity. On the outside, I looked spiritual. On the inside, I was fragmented. Because constantly asking is not faith, it's hesitation disguised as humility. I was afraid to decide, afraid to choose wrong, afraid to interfere with divine timing, afraid that I moved too boldly I would ruin everything. So I waited, and waiting felt responsible. Waiting felt mature. Waiting felt spiritual. But nothing was moving at all. Not money, not opportunities, not momentum. Just time. Days were passing by, but I wasn't arriving anywhere. And here's the part that hurts the most. I started to resent the very ideas that once gave me comfort. Manifestation started to feel fake. Affirmations started to feel hollow. Hope started to feel humiliating. Because when you hope for too long, hope turns into pressure. And pressure turns into self blame. I started asking myself, what am I doing wrong? That question quietly poisons you because it assumes the universe is watching you fail a test. I wasn't failing a test, I was avoiding responsibility. I didn't want to admit that yet. I told myself I was surrendering, but surrender had become passive. I told myself I was trusting, but trust had become avoidance. Deep down, I knew the truth. I didn't want to face. I wasn't waiting for the universe, I was waiting to feel safe. And safety never came. But safety doesn't arrive from outside, it's decided. But I had not decided anything in a long time. I was floating, spiritually entertained, emotionally tired, financially stagnant. Then came the moment, not dramatic, not cinematic, just quiet. I remember sitting alone, no music, no phone, no distraction, and for the first time, I didn't ask for guidance. I didn't pray for clarity. I didn't ask for a sign. I just stopped. Stopped asking, stopped negotiating, stopped pretending that waiting was wisdom. And something inside me snapped. Not violently, but cleanly, like a rope finally cutting. The thought that came wasn't spiritual, it was grounded, almost uncomfortable. It said, enough, I'm done asking. Not in anger, in certainty. That was the shift. Not belief, not faith, decision. I didn't declare what would happen. I declare who I was done being. I was done being the version of me that needed permission. Done being the version of that waited for reassurance. Done being the version that needed the universe to go first. And in that moment, something strange happened. The anxiety I had been carrying for months went quiet. Not excitement, not relief, calm. For the first time, I wasn't waiting or trying to align. I was aligned because I stopped resisting my own authority. That was the day everything changed, not externally yet, internally. And that internal shift made everything invisible and inevitable. I didn't stop believing, I didn't stop asking. After that moment, nothing magical happened. No signs, no sudden opportunities, no text message from the universe pretending to be miracles. And that's exactly why it mattered. For the first time, I wasn't scanning reality for confirmations. I wasn't checking numbers. I wasn't interpreting silence. I wasn't asking, is this working or not? I had made a decision, and decisions don't beg. I literally want you to understand that was new territory for me. Because my entire spiritual life before that moment was built on response. I moved when I felt inspired. I waited when I felt unsure. I paused when I didn't feel aligned. But here's what nobody tells you: waiting to feel aligned keeps you permanently misaligned. Yes, my friend, you heard that right. Waiting to feel aligned keeps you permanently misaligned because feelings changes faster than reality does. So I stopped listening to feelings, not suppressing them, not fighting them, just no longer obeying them. That alone changed everything. I started doing things without emotional approval. I worked without excitement. I showed up without motivation. I stayed consistent without reassurance. And something strange happened. The inner chaos I thought was part of my personality wasn't. It was a byproduct of indecision. Once I decided, the noise had nothing to feed on. No more inner debates, no more spiritual negotiations, no more what if I'm wrong. Wrong compared to what? I realized something uncomfortable. I had been using spirituality to avoid accountability. If something failed, it was not aligned. If something didn't work, it was not time. If I hesitated, it was intuition. But intuition is calm. What I had been calling intuition was fear wearing a sacred costume. And fear gets very creative when it wants to stay in control. Once I stopped asking the universe to guide me, I noticed something even more unsettling. The universe stopped being loud. No more constant signs. No more repeating numbers. No symbolic nudges. Just pure silence. At first, that silence was empty. It literally felt empty because I had built an identity around being guided. Without guidance, who was I? Just me. Making choices, standing by them, taking responsibilities. That was terrifying and stabilizing at the same time. Here's the truth people don't want to hear. Signs appear when you're unsure. They disappear when you are certain. The universe doesn't keep whispering to people who have already decided. It responds to directions, not questions, and directions doesn't need commentary. As the days went on, something subtle shifted. I wasn't happier, I was steadier. I didn't feel high, I felt grounded. My actions stopped fluctuating with my emotions, and because of that, my emotions stopped controlling my life. That's when reality started changing quietly, not dramatically, not all at once, small confirmations. Opportunities that didn't require convincing, conversations that flowed instead of stalled, money that stayed instead of slipping away. But the bigger and biggest change was external. It was this: I stopped needing life to prove itself to me. Before, every win needed validation. Every delay felt personal. Every quiet period felt like failure. Now, quiet felt neutral. And neutral is powerful, my friends. I want you to understand neutral is very, very powerful. Neutral doesn't overreact. Neutral doesn't self sabotage. Neutral doesn't chase. Neutral holds. That's when I understood something I wish I had learned earlier. The universe doesn't reward obsession, it responds to self trust. And self trust only forms when you stop outsourcing your decisions. When you stop asking, "What should I do?" and start saying, "This is what I'm doing." Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's unclear, even when there is no guarantee. That certainty does something to reality, it organizes it. Life doesn't argue with someone who's no longer arguing with themselves. Most people think surrender means stepping back. It doesn't. Real surrender is stepping forward without asking for approval. That's what I had misunderstood my entire life. I thought surrendering meant waiting. It actually means letting go of doubts. The moment's doubt leaves, momentum enters. Not explosive momentum, sustainable momentum. The kind that doesn't burn you out, the kind that compounds over time. And here's the part I didn't expect. Once I stopped asking the universe, I felt closer to it than ever. Because I wasn't begging anymore. I was cooperating. I wasn't requesting permissions. I was participating. That's the difference between a child asking for guidance and an adult taking responsibility. The universe doesn't need more children. It responds to adults. Adults decide. Adults commit. Adults stay steady when emotions fluctuate. That's when the flow begins. Not the flashy kind, the reliable kind, the kind that lasts forever. And once that started, I never went back. Because I realized something irreversible. Asking felt spiritual, but deciding felt powerful. And power is quieter than people expect. I didn't lose faith, I gained authority. If this story felt familiar, it's because you're closer than you think. Most people don't need more techniques, they need to stop asking for permissions. If you're done waiting for signs, done negotiating with timing, done giving your power away to uncertainty, stay here. I don't post motivation. I want you to understand clearly. I don't post motivation. I don't sell hopes. I talk about what actually changes things. I go deep. Follow if you are ready to stop asking the universe and start cooperating with it. And if this landed, don't share it for validation, share it for the one person who's quietly tired of waiting. Stop asking, decide. That's it. No begging, no hype, no discounts. If you understood my vision, if you understood, literally I'm asking that if you understood what I have said right now in this whole video, I want you to comment anything, not for the algorithm, just for the alignment that you are aligned, and like, share, and subscribe so you cannot miss another manifestation or spiritual awakening video. I will see you in my next video.